And if you haven't typed here into the chat for attendance yet, make sure you do that. So homework questions, again, you can ask these aloud, or probably easier to type them into the chat. So I have a running list. If there's going to be more than one at a time, it usually makes it easier to kind of keep track of things if you type them into the chat. Okay, so that's okay if there's no questions right now. As I continue to talk, if you come up with something that you want to ask about, feel free to kind of dump it into the chat and let me know, and we can always kind of circle back to it later. So last class, we discussed graphing and modeling for quadratics. That was content for Chapter 4. So we're going to have our Chapter 4 test scheduled for Thursday this week. That was on the schedule and on the calendar, if you might have seen it already. So today I've prepared for you guys a review. So let's just kind of walk through that. So the review is going to be the same format as the test. The number of questions in each section will probably be less, certainly not more. So like the first set of questions, we have, write the quadratic in the indicated form. So you're just going to have to do a little bit of algebra there. And then here we're going to factor some quadratics. So if you can use a shortcut, you don't have to show any work. If you can't use a shortcut, though, you should show the work. Certainly you can show work even if you're using the shortcut. That's certainly fine. And if it's not factorable, you should use the discriminant to show it's not factorable. So I have, a bunch of these to do. And then we'll have some solving problems. Again, you can use the method of your choice, but you do need to show work. So you can't just type it into your calculator program and write down an answer. You need to show some work for those. And I have several of those for you to practice with. I have a couple of graphing problems where you need to provide the vertex and 2 points on either side and then draw the graph. And then we have a couple of modeling questions at the end where I give you some information, ask you to write the quadratic function. I've also put into the content library the key for this. So there's some work shown here where, to varying degrees, but if you know kind of what you're doing, that should be sufficient for you. But if you scroll through, you can see that, there's an answer and some work shown for most of these problems. As far as the test day on Thursday, we're going to, you'll get an email from me at the schedule to send at 11:15. That email will have a attachment with the test in it. You can either do the test in OneNote, it'll be a OneNote file, that's the attachment, or you can do it on a separate sheet of paper after you've finished with your test, however you're going to do it. You should make a PDF file of that, and then there'll be a Dropbox in PowerSchool that you'll submit to, very similar to how we've done the homework quizzes in class. For Thursday, I would like you on the Zoom call while you're doing the test in case there's an error on the test, I need to make a correction, if there's something, directions that need clarification or whatever. It makes it much easier if we're all kind of doing that at the same time. Once you've finished, there's no reason that you need to that you would need to stay for the entirety of the class. But I would say that while you're working on the test, I would like you on the Zoom call. Now, you don't really, plan ahead in terms of like having space to do your work while you can kind of be present, but that would be the plan for Thursday. Does anybody have questions there about the format or the plan for Thursday? Okay. So if there's no homework questions, which is totally fine if you don't have any, you'll have noticed I put up the keys for all the homework assignments. So even if you did end up with a homework question, you should be able to kind of check that and take care of it. I'm going to release you guys and let you spend the rest of the time here today working on your review. Certainly, if you have any questions in between now and Thursday, you can send me an email or whatever. I'd be happy to respond. But I think that does it for today in terms of everything I need from you guys. So you guys are free to go. Just remember before you go, for attendance purposes, to type bye into the chat. And we'll see you guys Thursday. Have a nice snowy day.
Thanks, Mr. Kulik.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.